Now, I tell kids, we, on our project, we tell kids, each kid is like a little seed in a plant. And your family is like a pot. And you grow and you learn things from them. But there comes a time in life where you want to live away from your family, not at your parents' house anymore. And that seed drops somewhere else. And now you have your own pot. And as a pot, you can move things around, looking for better sun, better water. You can look for a better home. And if you find that Los Cabos is the place you like because of the good weather, the beach, job opportunities, whatever it is, perfect welcome. But at some point you should break that pot, because if not, you'll stay like a bonsai. Break that pot. Be part of the community. Put your roots in this land. And when that happens, you'll know the past of the place. You'll get involved. And when we have bad hurricanes, we put our roots together to bond, to be strong together. This way the winds won't knock us down. So when you're part of the community, you have to be involved. That's how it works. So bottom line, if you do become part of the community by putting your roots in this land, you turn into a cactus. That's how you become a chollero. Yeah.
This is a very different video than videos that I've done in the past. I absolutely love history. I love Mexican history. I've been living in this country for 5 years and I learn so much every single day. So when I came to San Jose del Cabo, I knew that I wanted to learn more about this region. There's so many little facts that other tour companies that we've had have thrown in about how much this place has grown in the last 20 years or so. And I wanted to get to know the Cabo before 20 years ago, before the 90s, which was 30 years ago now actually. I just wanted to learn more about this region that I know almost nothing about, because it's so different than other places that I've spent so much time in, especially Mexico City and the central region of Mexico in general. So when I found Cabo City Tours, also called Free Cabo Tours, I knew it sounded like such a great idea. I had no idea before we took the tour that it was also a community project. And since taking the tour and meeting Christian and learning about the project that they're doing, I feel even more passionate about sharing this video with you guys. Like I said, it's different than other videos that I've had. If you're not interested in history, I understand. But I urge you to have a watch of this video to better understand not just the history of San Jose del Cabo and Los Cabos in general, but to take part a little bit in this community project, to learn about these guys and what they're trying to do for their community. And if at the end of this video you feel pulled in any way to contribute, I'll talk about that at the end of this video, how you can help out. Obviously this tour is very information heavy. I tried to just litter in some of the most interesting facts, what I thought were the most interesting facts. I don't want to share the entire tour because obviously if you come to San Jose del Cabo, you'll want to take this tour. And if I showed you everything, this video would be like an hour and a half. So yeah, I'm just sharing some of the most interesting facts about this, a little bit about what this project is about. I'll let Christian explain that in the video, and showing you a little bit of this beautiful downtown area. I know a lot of you love Mexico as much as I do, and in fact love San Jose and this region of Mexico even more than I do. So I know you'll enjoy some of these facts, some of this information, and understanding more how you can engage with this community. So yeah, I'm gonna stop blabbing on and I'm gonna let Christian tell you all about this project, and I will see you at the end of the video.
Yeah. Now, before we start, it's key for me to share a little bit of history behind the tour. So first of all, this is not a tour run by a tour company. It's not like a big business. It's actually a community project. Cool. And I'm part of it, but there's other volunteers, other people who are working with it. And so you guys can understand why I'm a volunteer and what our goal is, I do have to tell you a quick story, but more about what I've seen. Okay. So I'm 34 years old, and when I was born, my grandparents knew everybody in town, literally. And not only in town, but also in the other town, Cabo San Lucas. So there's two big cities today, San Jose and San Lucas. When I was born, there was 30,000 people. And now the update to 2020, we passed already 300,000. Wow. So it's crazy how often the thing updates and just goes up and up and up. So it's more than 1,000% in my lifetime. Wow. See? 270,000 people moved into Los Cabos, and I've seen it. I've seen it grow.
Wow.
Now, this is not fun information to share, but what pushed us, what invited us to do this tour was a social problem, a collapse in our community. So we're failing as a community. How can you keep kids out of problems is giving them enough offer of education, of sports, you know, keep them on the good track. Families are perhaps also failing to see this in their kids before they actually turn to bad people. So bottom line is education in many ways. So more or less the same people that we got together and organized a peaceful march, then we sat down and said, okay, what can we do to keep this from happening? I spoke with the local historian called Gabriel Fonseca Verdugo, and I said, I think the key so we have a tighter community, have them bond together, is work on restoring local identity. One thing that everyone who has come from other places have in common is they're all living in one same place. And how can you see a child and not think of that child as maybe your relative if you don't know him anymore, but what this kid's living here, so that child is a community child. So we should all look at each other, right?
We walked around to several different historical buildings in San Jose's downtown during the tour, including the oldest house, the location of the first telephone in all of Baja, as well as a beautiful old inn now called El Encanto. Christian told us about how Baja was formed and showed us the tooth of a megalodon, which he found while hiking slightly inland from here. Baja used to be underwater not so long ago. We learned about the Mission Trail, which starts here in San Jose and goes all the way up through California. The tour itself goes through the entire history of this land, including learning about the native people, called the Perico.
The old entrance to town is this dirt road. Long ago, before cars, the way of transportation was walking or with animals, right? Horses and mules, donkeys. So naturally the best way to travel was always near water because there was grass and water for the animals. So it's pretty much abandoned, but this was extremely important. It's known as King's Road or El Camino Real. The native people, they lived in this area. So all that greenery, all those are native plants. They're naturally green here. This is one of the greenest areas in the whole peninsula. We have an oasis here. We call it the Estuary, although technically the word estuary means salt water coming into land. It's not really an estuary, it's an oasis. But anyway, that's how it's called, the Listero. Right? This is where the Perico tribe lived. This is right by the hotel zone. Vidanta Hotel is right here. Then there's an empty lot, Holiday Inn Hotel. They're demolishing it. Is down here.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
And then there's a boulevard that comes right into town that brings you to the main square. Mm-hmm. The old Perico burial site was this circle. The shaman, the priest, would dress up with wigs, hairs of all the people who were being dying. So he totally dressed up like a Adam's Family thing. Okay. And he would do a ceremony. He would bury people, let them decompose, and they would bring bones out, paint them, and then relocate in other places. When Spaniards arrived here, they said, no, you just bury your people and leave them buried. What's the #1 attraction of San Jose del Cabo? What do people come check out? Most likely they'll find the art walk, the art district, the historical town. This corner pretty much is the heart of it all. So during high season and Thursdays is that they close all these streets for pedestrians. No cars would be around here. Street performers, free tequila or wine, musicians, dancers. It's really cool. So it's all basically right in here, right in this corner. Now, before all this gossip, all this fiesta mexicana that's happening nowadays, this was still a natural attraction. When people say what's beautiful about the old historical town is the old buildings themselves. So you have colonial buildings, but colonial is not a style of architecture. It's not like saying Gothic. It's a time in history when buildings were built. In this case, before Mexico would turn into a country, when Mexico was still a colony from Spain, right? So old colonial buildings look very much like that corner right there. Now, in the olden times, colonial era, everything would have been white. Because paint was not brought over for homes. They would use material that was available in the area, such as plaster, the thing you use like when you break your arms, right? Here in our peninsula, we have the second biggest plaster mine in the world.
Oh, really?
It's an interesting fact. Not a great place to go explore. It's a whole island.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's an island made out of plaster. San Marcos, it's called. There was still only one phone. There. So then you have hot shots from 50s and 60s like John Wayne, Bill Crosby, Elizabeth Taylor come into town.
Use the phone.
Yeah, use the phone. So you had celebrities wandering around the old town of San Jose del Cabo. They thought it was amazing. They would walk into people's homes. Kids were doing little piñatas, and it's like, wow, this is like wild, you know? They loved it. So Los Cabos has offer for everybody. Now, as tourists, you guys can make a difference too. So when we tell the kids about our project and where we're getting money from tourists, it's like, perfect. How many tourists come? How many people have paid for this? And we kind of say, well, not that many. So what we do is for every person who hires a tour, one kid gets to come for free. Oh, and how many tourists come a year? Kids ask so many questions. It's like, well, actually, it's like 5 million. Oh, so, we're 300,000. Oh, we're covered. It's like, no, most people actually don't come to Los Cabos to actually hear about the town's history. Most people stay at resorts. They just come to unwind, to enjoy the beaches. Many others come to any of these sport events and then party. But the majority do not think of Los Cabos as an interesting place. It's more of a relaxing or party place. But we need people to switch. We need to have a different type of tourists arriving here. People who believe that Los Cabos has a community of itself too and want to help it out somehow.
I hope you guys found some of that interesting as I did. If you are ever in San Jose, if you are in San Jose del Cabo now, if you are visiting soon, I hope you will take this tour. It's so fascinating. Christian is so passionate, not just about this project, but about his town and about the history here. And that really comes across in the tour. So you'll definitely enjoy it if you had a little bit of time hanging out with him. And of course, it helps support a really great cause, teaching these kids and sharing this tour with them, and so that they can better understand their community and where they come from. If you have no plans to come to San Jose del Cabo, but you feel moved by this organization and what they're trying to do, I will link below to a place where you can donate. I will try to update it as Christian sets up more ways that people can help out. But at the moment, you can simply book the tour. And like he mentioned in the video, for every tour that someone pays for, it pays for one of the children to be able to do the tour. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you'll consider supporting this awesome cause and getting to know this community a little bit better, a little bit deeper. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really supports my channel and this cause, and I will see you next time. Bye!